I was ready to hate this game. Another name cash grab on casual gamers who won't care. I wasn't even waiting for it. I'm not a Bond fan. Then I watched him blow the charges knowing he might die like everyone there, and he decided to act anyway. That felt like Bond. My friend actually recommended it. I tried the first mission at his home on his setup with the massive TV, and from the first moments the game hooked me in. The tension was set high from the beginning, and before I knew it, it was time to go home, and I couldn't wait to go and buy it right away. Still, I was not going to give it an easy out, that's for sure. Bond was never my hero. I wasn't even expecting something half good. But the man on the screen felt truly like James Bond, with his good sides and his bad sides, live and real. I liked the series direction they went with it. It felt Bond-like and intentional. Is it the best game ever? No, certainly not. Best innovation? No. Best combat? No. Best music? No. Best story? Also no. But it is, without question, a Bond game. Best at nothing, and still one of the best games I played this year. How does that work? In this game, it really feels like Bond is becoming 007, a person with vices but also with an undeniable moral spine, who chooses the right thing. And what I loved is that game is not trying to be something that it's not, like many other titles are trying to do recently. And there are many reasons for that, but let's start with the main thing. On the boat, where you talk with one of the characters named Isola, she gives you a martini and says, "shaken not stirred." And Bond says, "Is there a difference?" That was a fun recall to the classic catchphrase, and it reinforces that feeling that this is the story about how Bond became 007. The reason why he's 007 and not 001, for example, because he was the 7th to join the training, even though he was the only one to complete it. They reworked and added a lot of stuff like that, stuff that just makes sense and works with the story. I went in and checked just for the sake of it. In the books, the 00 meant a license to kill. The 7 was just there. The game gave 7 a meaning, and honestly, it sits just right with me. I know I sound like a fanboy now. Not bad for someone who was ready to hate this, right? A 20-something-year-old trying to live his best life, being a spy, saving the world. The game focuses primarily on this, on becoming, on making mistakes as Bond, his learning curve. I love it when the overpowered character has background to back it up. When it's not just genius or gifted. Here, you see the work behind his best traits. And even more so behind his worst. The game did a solid job of the Bond in the making type of thing. I think they did a great job of showing that growth in the relatively small timeline the game gives you, about 20 hours. Again, I'm not a Bond fan. He might have gotten those things in other places, and as a fan, you might not like it. But to someone like me, it feels more than natural, and that brings us to the story of the game itself. I'll try to keep it spoiler-free. Story is very cinema-like, a classic, good spy movie. The ending actually got me multiple times. It was like, oh, now they'll roll the credits. Then I was bamboozled. Then again, okay, now they will roll them. And again, it was not it. It was kind of fun. Was all of it unexpected? Nah, not really. Still, they got me good, and that felt fine. I was ready to close the game and go to sleep, and then kept playing a little longer anyway. The game overall is not that long, and it has great pacing. Something I feel is missing in many games nowadays. Going for long playtimes with no stories deep enough to keep me invested. The locations and the people density in them, that was something that wowed me and felt cool. I don't think I saw that many NPCs in such small locations in other games. I mean, the bazaar was really crowded, with a lot of people there, like a real one. And that actually helps bring out the graphics more and makes them look even better. It's not only the fidelity of what's on screen, but also how much of it is there. At least that's what works for me. Yeah, NPCs are blanks, mostly at least, but it felt much better than the half-barn clubs in some games. There is movement, you go in between people, there are some reactions, all of that spices up the feeling of place being alive, and there are enough locations to show for it, like the clubs here, with so many people dancing and just being there that I went, yeah, that feels like a place I've been to. I was thinking to myself, why didn't others do this sooner? The music didn't wow me, but I liked that they kept already canon-like sounds that read Bond easily, and modernized and adjusted them to fit this title. I really liked Lana Del Rey's track for this game. Felt like a classic Bond movie intro, which they made as well. And it doesn't look out of place, it's the opposite. It sets the stage for what this game actually is. A cinematic experience with some good gameplay attached to it. And the cinematic experience is pointless if the actors are cardboard, and they are not. Acting was on point, the cast felt right and alive. Maybe the reason I almost forgot to mention it is that there is not much to say. They did the job well enough that I don't have a reason to bring it up. Was it the absolute best performance anywhere I have seen? No. Like absolutely everything about this game. It was just how it needed to be, not more, not less. All of that is well and good, but I have to tell you about the downsides so you can decide if that's a deal breaker for you. The combat, while really action movie-like, is quite limited and not all that diverse. Combat and shooting are instruments to further the story, not the game's highlight. I'm sure if the game went for 10 or 20 hours longer, it would have become annoying. On the other hand, the combat is not easy. I failed multiple times throughout the game, sometimes because I didn't get what the game wanted from me, bad, and sometimes because it required me to show some skill. I mean, there was a point in the game where I just didn't understand what was needed from me, and I died like 4 times before I got what the game actually wanted. And here it is. Apparently, this game was made by the same people that made Hitman. I tried Hitman a couple of times, but it wasn't my type of jam. While making this video, I checked and it was their game, IO Interactive. That was funny to me, because I remember telling my friend that it feels like a Hitman game that I actually like. Seems like that's where the crowds come from, and that smooth flow from stealth into open combat. Experience. To be fair though, it did the job for me. Fighting felt good and dynamic, especially the use of things around you. The motion capture moves look really good. I saw clips on YouTube of guys doing the most cinematic Bond action out there, so you can go and train a bit and make those battles beautiful and rewarding, if you want to. And what I noticed is how seamless the transition is between stealth and open combat, and from hand to hand to guns. That made it feel like it was planned by me, not really, and made it feel cool. So the combat is a mixed bag, good at some stuff and meh at other. Another thing I didn't enjoy, some locations make you do puzzles, which are neither hard nor interesting. It's just crawl there, open that, read this, find that, and it gets annoying the further you go. It felt a bit time-wasting in an otherwise really well-paced game. Like they tried their best to hit that 20-hour playtime marker, without adding more locations and story. It reads like cheap effort. Especially the crawl through tight spaces thing. It's 2026, not 2016. You can stop doing it, over and over. We get it. I have to address some critique I saw online, and here is an example that goes like, it's linear. I mean, yeah, it is. I think the industry got so saturated by survival and open world games that linear games are seen as something not worth it, when in truth, it's just a different taste. It takes you on a journey, some journeys are better than others, and this one is great. Sometimes I just want to see cool scenery and do somewhat fun shootouts and remember the story for a bit. That's enough to make a really good game. Others say it's preachy. I'd seen people online call it that, so I went in braced for it. I didn't find it, Nobody in this game exists just to hold a position or feels like a blank. And the female M has been Bond canon since 1995. I checked. Purists about the original might feel differently, and fair enough. I doubt you'll even notice. Another comment was, it's full of cliché tropes. Did they use tropes that were there before? Yeah, definitely. But still made it work. The classic tropes work because they're classic. And this is Bond. So it's sort of expected even. Like the charming ally you don't know if you can trust or not. And to me, what is more Bond than that? Or the over-the-top secret villain lair, somewhere improbable on top of a distant mountain. Quite literally, actually. That's cliché, but also undeniably Bond-like. And I could go on, but I think you get the picture. And the big one. People say it plays it too safe. That's not even a single system takes a big swing. That is fair. But it doesn't matter to me. And the reason is simple. Tell me, how many of the fan-favorite shows, movies and game franchises have been cannibalized in the past decade? I mean, the list is simply endless and heartbreaking. IO Interactive kept it restrained. It is better than to try and fit Bond to the modern standards, which can't be done without completely changing him, his style and his story's identity. Simply impossible. I will choose restraint over chasing trends any day of any year, but it comes with a trade-off. For instance, if you are looking for a story on the level of, like the Arcane series, you're looking in the wrong place. Same if you need deep systems and 60 hours of content to feel like you got your money's worth. This isn't that, and it's not trying to be. It's not about being the ultimate. To me, it felt good enough or a bit more across the board. This game is definitely worth the 20 hours it asks of you. It's like a really nicely made series where you get to play, which immerses you even deeper into the story. With that, let's talk about the future, because there will be one. What does the part 2 need in my opinion? Not the length some might be looking for, I'm not. I think it's enough. It's just, don't get rid of the things that work. The mostly classic representation of Bond, vices and all. Keep him as is. Don't change him much. Maybe a bit more variability in the intelligent gathering side stuff, a bit more depth to the crawling around, so it doesn't feel like a time waster. Stay with the story narration style, no need to overcomplicate. If that's the level they are going to keep it at, it's going to be an absolutely stunning game series. For my final thoughts, as someone who didn't expect anything from this title, someone who was willing to miss it altogether, it was a really positive experience. It's not the best at any single thing you can name. It's not top 10 of all time or even close to that, but the game just works. It's like a really, really good series that you love. You might not even have a lot of reasons to love it, or be able to convey why, but you love it regardless. The strange thing is, I might actually replay this game from time to time, like I do with Mafia 2 before New Year's. I like it in December. The game might fill the same shoes. There is something innately nostalgic and warm about a simple story with a great classic character. And now, I cannot wait for the Bond to return.